I think we're at that point now. Everything that we could have done personally, I think we have done. We've got an infrastructure and a support system behind us now. And to be honest, unless Madeleine's found, we're not expecting any significant developments in the near future.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. One thing that's more than a little odd in this case, a case with a huge archive of photos, videos, interviews, documentaries, crime scene images, and press conferences, one thing is missing. Going through the archive, there are plenty of images of all manner of searches going on. Tracker dog searches, blood and cadaver dog searches, Portuguese police searches, British police searches, German police searches, Ocean Club staff searching, local searching, tourist searching. Are there any images from anywhere in the timeline of Kate and Gerry actually searching themselves? I mean, on the ground, actively searching. When Kate was actually asked this question point blank, she gave a strange, almost cryptic answer.
I met people who didn't go to work for more than a week because every day they were down on the beach searching the streets. Did you, as a mother, Kate, just sometimes think, I've got to go and be out there with them, I want to go and just physically look as well?
I mean, I did. We've been working really hard, really, apart from the first 48 hours, as Gerry says.
Before we get to the rest of this analysis, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. By the way, for those who don't know, I wrote 5 books on the Madeleine McCann case. Some of these are available now on Audible. That's besides those available on Kindle and paperback. So if you are into audiobooks, now's your chance to listen to one of the most in-depth narratives on this case ever compiled. And the final book in that series, the 5th book in that series, Deeper into Darkness, was actually written dealing with actually being in Praia da Luz, measuring the layouts and kind of really getting to know the where in terms of the fabric of this case, and through that being able to answer quite technical questions regarding when did this happen, when did that happen. Obviously, when I was in Praia da Luz just the last couple of days, I did additional work in that regard, and I'll be sharing some of the implications of that at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that. Incidentally, I saw someone making this strenuous complaint about making a spelling mistake of Madeleine's name in a post I did, and I just couldn't actually believe I was just blown away by I don't know if the word is ingratitude or just the critical nature. You know, you go all the way to Praia da Luz to do this work, and someone can't get over a spelling mistake, as though you really don't know how to spell Madeleine's name. I mean, it just blew my mind. Really, really blew my mind. You go to all this work, and there's still this effort just to dismiss it completely. It's pretty incredible. In any event, if you do appreciate my work and my credibility and my efforts, and you've never hit the thanks button, now's your chance, and let's get started. Now, what's also curious about this is how we see similar failures to search for missing people in other cases. So you might say, you know what, maybe this was going on, or maybe they had other children that they had to take care of as well, or maybe this, maybe that. The problem with that argument is you see something similar in other cases, and it certainly does raise one's eyebrows. In the Ramsey case, after finding the ransom note, the Ramseys waste no time searching for their child. You know, it's not as though both parents need to call 911. One can call 911 while the other is doing something else. One can read the note while the other is doing something else. Instead, within a minute or two, and I think this is something they actually acknowledge in police interviews, they call the police. Besides apparently glancing into John Bonet's bedroom and not even turning the light on or questioning John Bonet's brother Burke, they simply accessed the ransom note without hardly reading it. That's another part that's really strange. And then while the police are on their way, they don't seem to search the house either. Now, in the McCann case, what's kind of odd is this idea that one child is apparently taken, and then Kate seems to leave the room to run out of the apartment to tell everyone at the tapas bar. But now you've left two other children in the original room with the window open. I don't know if Kate ever says, well, she saw that the window was open and then she closed it, because remember, she's got two other children in that room. So that's in the sense that the Ramseys don't seem to actually read the ransom note. The McCanns don't seem to read the room in which they say this terrible event happened, but others are expected to. In the Ramsey case, when others arrive, that's what they do. They search for John Bonet. And guess what? John Bonet is there all the time. It's just not in a very easy place to find. And one wonders whether there's a situation like that with Madeleine. Is Madeleine there all the time? I don't mean in the apartment, but I guess close by, just not in a very easy place to find. The same thing with the Amanda Knox case. Knox doesn't seem particularly interested in either trying to find Meredith, or call the police where she's certain there has been a break-in. It's also very interesting in Gerry McCann's interview how he describes going back to work barely 6 months after the incident and just wanting their lives to get back to normal. He describes everything being in place in terms of the search for Madeleine, everything basically meaning a fund and a dead-ended, almost closed police investigation. Remember, this was November 2007. And, the accumulating acceptance by then that Madeleine must be alive, which presumably means one doesn't need to search for her as if she weren't, because she wouldn't she just turn up somewhere when the fates were somehow aligned again? Well, have they been in 18 years? I'm not going to take it further than that, except to say in the next analysis, this is really going to get quite interesting. We're going to examine the windows and curtains in Praia da Luz. And while I was there just a few days ago on the anniversary, actually, I did a little experiment in an apartment just around the corner from the Ocean Club with the same orientation. And I'll be sharing that sort of recreation with you guys soon, so watch this space. Also, there's another surprise waiting for you. I actually went to the tapas bar during this trip where I did some additional research, measuring the exact distance, for example, from the tapas bar to the side gate of 5A as well as to the front door. That's the wooden door facing the parking lot. Any guesses how long it takes to walk from the table to the gate? Anyway, I'll be sharing those insights and footage with you guys as well, so keep your eyes peeled on this channel for additional videos. If you don't want to miss them and you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe now and hit that notification button. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.